Hi, everybody, and welcome to Discipleship Debrief for today. And we are going to be continuing in our discipleship series and uh, that we've been doing on Wednesday night. This is kind of just a recap to keep everybody up to date and on the same page. We looked at the difference last night between the Egyptian culture and the culture that God was trying to get the Israelites to um, model or to see. In the Egyptian culture, they were a culture of the eyes. Everything was aesthetically pleasing. Everything was to attract the eyes. If you look at their sculptures and their artwork, all the eyes are exaggerated. So they were a culture of the eyes, and for them that meant because they had the same idea of tohu, like the Israelites, that there was chaos and then there was shalom, peace, but they didn't use the word shalom, they used ma'at, which wasn't the shalom that the Israelites were, or that God intended. This was their shalom, or their peace, was that you get everything you want, and that you fill your mind and your body and everything with the desires of your eyes, and whatever looks good, whatever feels good, whatever tastes good, that's what you do, and that's fulfillment, that's peace. And we know that that's not right. And God, after He delivered the Israelites from Egypt, you know, we know that the story in Genesis, the creation account, that's the beginning. But they had not seen that in written form, and they had just heard it orally. Some of them had not. And Moses brings a book, a written scroll of this story, and we see something very interesting. Um, that they are drawn into tohu, they are drawn into chaos by their eyes. Um, Eve is drawn, and Adam, by their eyes. And so God's showing here that the culture of being pleasing yourself with just your eyes and what you want and your desires at the moment. Um, Genesis 3:6, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and it was pleasant to the eye, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her. Um, with her, that means he was with her, he was close by, and he also did eat. But then God took them to the desert, and in the desert, there's nothing. Um, it is a very desolate area. It's not a pretty place, so to speak. And the only thing that there's no distraction because it's very quiet. The only thing that you hear in the desert is the wind, and that Hebrew word is ruah, which is also the same word when they talk about the very breath of God. Um, and the breath of God, the wind is used as uh, a a metaphor or descriptor for the breath of God, the presence of God. So that's all they could hear. And God wanted His people not to be a culture of the eyes, but a culture of the ears, to hear God's voice. Um, Jesus said in Matthew 4:4, speaking to the tempter, speaking to the devil, but he answered and he said, "It is written, man should not live by bread alone, by your physical desire, by just, you want bread, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God." So he doesn't want us to be ones that are led by our eyes, but by our ears, and to listen. Also, John 10:27, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. In the desert, there are sheep that the shepherd leads, and the sheep are led by the voice. Shepherds are always talking, so their sheep will follow. If the shepherd stops talking, the sheep stop. Now, other people can be talking. They may come across someone, but they know the shepherd's voice. And so we are like sheep, and when we follow the master, we listen for his voice. We listen for what he says in his word. We become listeners and not just reactors to what we see. Also, another thing quickly, um, not only do um, we don't just rely on emotions and things that we see, we listen to what God says and the truth of His Word, and we go with that instead of what we see, or that's faith. We may look at a situation and we may desire that God wants us. We want out of that because it's going to be hard. It's going to be um, we might face some suffering or persecution, but the word said, "Blessed are those that are persecuted, for they, and blessed are those that are mourned, for they shall be comforted." So we need to hear that and believe that instead of the circumstance that's happening to us. So the lesson last night is one that is challenging and one that we need to follow, and that is to be not a culture of the eyes, but followers with the ears and following the voice of God. So until next time, love God, love each other, and be a culture and listener to God. Follow with your ears, not your eyes.